Alrighty, welcome back everybody to the fourth and final week of our Elk Grove Library summer technology programs being offered here in the summer. We've come a long way over these past 4 weeks. We started out with our Elk Grove Library programs, not knowing much, and then building our tool set, building our skills over the past 4 weeks, learning about this idea of what computer science is, diving into many different fields, whether it be with this introduction of programming course, learning more about the language of Python, to learning how coding in computer science plays a huge role in the video games we play each day, and also being able to see yesterday with our Hack Club how machine learning and computer science play a role in allowing to make our lives much easier. We talked about how machine learning plays a role in Amazon, in recommendations, in predictions, and all that good stuff. And the main theme throughout these 4 weeks has been to see the technology has a large impact on our lives, and we're doing our best to sort of learn how we can sort of create that impact as well. So it's excellent to see that we got a lot of great people coming back on here for the fourth and final week of our Introduction to Programming course, where we are going to be capitalizing and finishing off with a final project today. And yeah, I appreciate you guys coming through for the final day. Without any further ado, let's get to today's festivities. So you guys should know who I am by now. I've encountered all of you guys a bunch of times over the past couple of weeks, whether it be on the Zooms or the Google Classrooms or the emails you guys have sent me. But my name is Rayaan, Siddiqi, guys. I graduated from James B. Cohen High School about a month and a half ago. And this upcoming fall of 2021, I will be an incoming freshman at the University of Illinois at Chicago. A little bit about me: I have published a novel earlier this year, a realistic fiction book about a student's journey throughout the world of high school and how he comes to learn about his passion for technology. You guys can check it out at the Elk Grove Library. The book's name is The Switch Up, or if you search my name up, you can find it online on Amazon as well. It's available in all the libraries across Illinois, and I highly recommend that if you have a chance, stop by the library, check it out. I know a couple of people here have already read it, send me emails and feedback on the book, which is always nice to hear about. So be sure to check it out, definitely. And I also like to run a sports talk show on the side with some of my friends called Buzzer to Buzzer on YouTube. And yeah, you guys, I think, already know about this stuff. Most of you guys do have checked it out as well, which is great to know. And it's been a pleasure getting to know all of you guys as well. So let's get to today's agenda for the fourth and final time. We're going to do a quick recap of last week, what we've covered, and more importantly, reviewing the past 3 weeks of terms and terminology we've covered in order to make sure that we are ready to code our final project for the day, which we'll get towards at the end. So it's been crazy how fast the month of June has flown by, and the summer is going by honestly as well. We've covered almost all of these summer technology programs, whether it be Hack Club, Gaming Hour, Introduction to Programming. As a reminder, our July programs of web development and iMovie editing are being shifted to the fall. We will be providing the dates upcoming. By the end of the summer, we should have some dates fixated. But for now, remember that we have finished those 3 programs, but our Introduction to Web Development and iMovie video editing, these will be moving towards the fall. So just a reminder on that. And yeah, we've done a bunch of programs, a bunch of new learning. So it's great to see the progress we have made. Alrighty, and as a quick reminder, guys, I covered this last week as well, but there are a bunch of more resources available about computer science, which I have made at the Schaumburg Library. I also teach more computer science courses, and over the past 2 years, there's over 200 hours worth of curriculum, which you guys can go and check out. The link is also available in the Google Classroom. If you guys go to the Google Classroom right now, if you go to the classwork tab, there is a material posted called Additional Coding Resources, where you guys can click the link and it will take you to our playlist with many more videos talking about how to start coding. We do many more in-depth videos. If I go scroll down, you guys can see that there's Python videos, JavaScript videos. You guys had the option to learn more about each coding language and learn more about the syntax. You know, the past 4 weeks we've done a lot, but 4 weeks isn't enough time to just go into everything. So I'd recommend that if you guys do find this stuff interesting, be sure to sign up for other programs at the library and also check out these videos I've made to get a better understanding. So are we having a Hack Club next week? So Hack Club was a one-time special program we had on June 28th, but in the fall, we'll definitely have another one. Hopefully you guys had fun time with that. We'll continue to do that. Yep. Alrighty, yep. So the link, guys, is the Google Classroom. Like I said, let me know if you do guys have any questions. Even though today's the final day, does not mean that I'm going away. I will still be active on the Google Classroom and ready to answer any questions and emails you guys might have as well. So let's do a quick recap of what we covered last week and then getting towards covering some terminology so that we can create our final project for the day. Last week, we reviewed some of the terms some terms about computer science and coding, which we were able to apply in concepts to our coding lessons. We had some breakout rooms where we were able to talk and collaborate with our classmates. And then we were able to make some real life analogies comparing the concept in coding to the real life coding concept. So that's what we are going to be doing today, reviewing some terms, making sure that we're all ready to go so that we can start firing away with our code. So first things first, we're going to do a quick little game today. We're going to talk about a concept which we've talked about in the past and how we've coded it. I want to hear what you guys think, if you guys remember what they are in the analogy we've made, and then we'll do a quick reveal of what the right answer is. So first things first, the first review topic is going to be functions. Who can tell me? You know what we'll do is we'll go into 1 minute breakout rooms. We'll come back, and then I'll hear what you guys have to say. So we'll go into breakout rooms for 1 minute. We'll come back soon. Share with your partners what is a function and what did we create the analogy. What is it in real life? Here we go. All right, just waiting a couple of people to come back. There we go. All right, so does anybody want to share what they were discussing? What are functions and what are they in real life? We discussed that comparison.
We were discussing like the meanings of functions and like how how you could represent them. Like you can represent a variable like a box, like you can store stuff and you can recall it like that.
All right, so what did you guys come up with functions? Do you guys want to talk about that?
They're like a house.
Yep, Andrew, definitely. Anybody else have anything to share?
I said that they're used to like perform an action.
Exactly, yep. So spot on, guys. Functions are used to hold all of our code, perform actions like Maria were saying. They have a purpose, right? Each function has a purpose to do something. And like the analogy we did come up with, it's like a house. It holds a lot of different things and it's able to do different actions as well. So spot on, great job. All right, another term which we discussed, Avanish, you were talking about this, variables. You want to keep talking about them?
Yeah, like variables are like something you can create and you can store like your program and information inside it. The thing about cool about variables is like you can recall it anytime you want, even inside a function. So like they're like one of the most important things like you need to have before actually doing some big project or programming. Like you need a function and a variable, and then from forward on you need a else statement and then whatever you want to do. Hello?
think he accidentally muted himself.
No,
Yeah,
he
he's
also
muted
turned his camera off.
Okay, yeah, there we go. All right, so yeah, Avanish exactly respond on talking about how variables allow us to hold different values, and they're pretty cool because we can refer to them throughout all of our program, whether it be a name variable, it could be a number variable. We're able to use these variables and also manipulate them in order to have different pieces of data, have different results we want. And I'm not sure if I got cut off there a bit, but if you guys were able to talk about the analogy, it's like a box, right? They hold different pieces of things. And in coding, they hold different pieces of data, whether it be number, words, strings, integers, whatever the case might be. They make our lives much easier because they can hold and then we can access all that information. Another topic which we covered last week, that was conditionals. And you remember what they were and an analogy what we had. Anybody remember what the purpose of if-else statements was?
If-else statements are like conditionals where if you want, like, for example, like you did that traffic light example, like if it's red, you have to stop, otherwise go. Like that's like basically what you need if like you're doing some equation or math or logic of type of anything.
Exactly. Yep. Anybody else have anything, sure?
It's basically like, if this happens, then this has to run. Otherwise, this other thing has to run. So.
Yep, exactly. So exactly, 100%. When you're bringing up the example of stoplight, if a stoplight is green, then you keep going. If it's red, then you come to a stop, right? And conditionals are a way for us to run specific pieces of code only when specific conditions are met. So in this example to the right, we're running the first line of code, printing out the alarm is on if the temperature is greater than 50. But in this case, what would be printed out? Who can evaluate this statement?
Will be print alarm off.
Exactly. The reason is because the first condition isn't met. So we then go to the else condition in this case, which is alarm off, and then we should see that printed out as well. So that was a quick little recap of the three big terms which we've covered. We spent a week on each of these terms, getting ourselves familiarized with actually coding these terms out as well. Now, today's going to be the day where we are bringing all of these topics together to create our final project in this Introduction to Programming course. And the project is going to be, like I foreshadowed last week, a quiz game. Now, I've already prepared a template so that we don't have to take too much time in getting all the basics set up. But the main idea will be the user will be able to answer 3 questions. Our job is going to be to write code, which is going to evaluate the user's response, seeing the answer they put in, and then making some comparisons, seeing if they put in the right answer. Now, in order to make this game, we're going to utilize all the concepts we talked about in the past week, so whether it be variables, functions, and conditionals, along with no loops for today, but that's the topic which we'll be covering in the fall as well, in order to see if the user has entered a right answer and award them any points if they did. So it's going to be a pretty basic idea. If you guys have ever taken a quiz, I'm sure all of you guys have. We're going to do 3 questions. The user has to answer all 3 questions, and then we'll see how well they do at the end. So as always, guys, let's go towards our coding website to make this project. I'm going to drop the link to the template I got prepared for you guys in the chat. There it is. And I will see you guys at the website.
I feel like we should make a code to code a snake. I mean, it feels so fitting.
A code to make the game snake? Yeah, definitely. Something we could do in JavaScript, yeah. All right, so as I can see, everybody's making their way on towards our coding website. A quick little recap. Our goal is to make a quiz game with 3 questions. The concepts we're going to utilize are variables, functions, and conditionals. Now, I do have some code already prepared involving some variables we got declared. A question variable, which is going to hold the question the user is going to be asked. The user answer is going to hold the answer we give as the user. The total points is going to be responsible for giving points when the user correctly answers the question. And then the counter is going to be used in order to go through all of these separate questions. Now, I've also created a function called ask questions, which is going to be responsible for actually asking the user the questions. And then we're going to utilize the answer variable to hold the user's answer. And then I have also created a separate function right here as a template called a valued answer, where we're going to utilize some conditionals and checking if the user has answered the right question and given the right answer. So as we get on started, let's get on started in our ask questions function. So what we're going to do is use our counter variable every time and increment our counter by 1 to show a different question. So initially we have the right here. If I hit run, we're probably going to get some type of error, right? Because we don't have our code filled in, but eventually we will, which is not to worry about. And then we're going to call our function ask questions 3 times in order to ask a different question each time. So let's get some ideas in the chat. What question and answer do you guys want to have? Let's go with a answer which has a question which has like a definite answer. So Andrew, that's like an opinion question. Do I like pizza? It could be yes or no. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, what's your favorite animal?
How about we go with what's the fastest animal? We know that the answer to this is going to be a cheetah, right?
No, actually, it's a peregrine falcon. Their dive is very fast.
Yeah, it goes like over 200.
Isn't it like 200 miles an hour?
Yeah, it goes over 200 miles per hour.
40, wow. Okay, I did not know that. It's super fast. Wow. I've never seen one. I don't know if I've seen one, but wow. Peregrine falcon. All right, thank you, Chase. So we'll go with a peregrine falcon. Is our answer. Now we're gonna.
Peregrine falcon is a bird. Shouldn't you technically say what is the fastest bird? Or like aviator?
Sure, you know
A bird is an animal, though.
It doesn't matter. It's synonyms for each other. It's fine. Now we're holding the user's question, which we're going to ask them in a question variable. And then we're asking the user right here to type their answer when they're being asked that question. Now we also have to display the question. So what I'm going to do is say print question number 1 is this. And then we'll do question number 1 is the question. Yes, if you guys would like, you can definitely follow along. Go to the replit.com website, where it's highly recommended if you guys do want, so you guys can get some more practice on your own coding. The link towards coding this on your own is also in the chat. But I do have a template prepared if you guys want to copy and paste the code, just to make sure we can go through this a bit faster and finish by our time. All right, so that's question number 1. Now, we also have to evaluate the answer. So I'm calling this evaluate answer function every time we call our ask question function. What this allows us to do is whenever we call ask questions function, we're going through all of the code inside of it. So we're going to go through if the counter is 0, which it is, we're going to ask the user this question. And then we're going to call this function called evaluate answer. Now, inside evaluate answer, we have to actually do some evaluation, see if the answer the user put in is actually right. So we have to get towards that. So what I'm going to do is call and tell the computer that we're going to utilize the variable called user answer. This allows us to access this variable and get any value which is inside of it. And if you'd like, you can go to my link, Pritha, or I can drop the link again. You might need to create an account. Let me know. All right, so now who can remind me what concept is this we're utilizing right here? We covered today?
Function.
Yep, so this is the function, and then right here, the highlighted part is a what's the term called? If we're checking for something, a specific condition is met, then we only run that specific.
If else conditional.
Exactly, yep. So we're going to utilize now an if-else conditional being called, we utilize a conditional in order to check if a correct answer is put in. Then, as a result, we will have to change the user's points. All right, so we discussed that the answer, what we're going to do in this evaluate answer function is create 3 different conditionals because we're going to have 3 different questions, right? So what we're going to be responsible for doing is saying that if the user's answer, which they've put in, matches to any of the answers to the questions, that means that they answered the question correctly. So the answer towards the question we put up above, what's the fastest bird? It's a peregrine falcon. We're just going to do the answer. So we're going to say the answer is a peregrine falcon. Now, if the user did put in, if any of their answers they put in matches to a peregrine falcon, then we will change their points. So we'll say that they get 1 extra point because they answered the question correctly. Remember, this is a shorthand method of writing. The points is equal to whatever the existing value is plus 1. So say I have 0 points. This line of code will make how many points in the variable? How many will it be holding?
1 point.
Exactly, because we're just adding 1. Now we can use this idea and keep on going on. So if I hit run, we'll see how this works. So we're being told, hey, are you ready to answer a question? We'll say yes. Now we're told, what's the fastest bird? We'll type in our answer. We'll say the peregrine falcon. Then we're going to be told to answer another question. So what we'll do to make this look nicer is add some spacing. And then we'll print out the user's points every time. So we'll do print your points, or we'll do total points. Is total points. All right, so we'll print that out. So now if I hit run, ready to answer a question? Yep, so we'll say yes. Oh, yes. What's the fastest bird? We'll do the peregrine falcon. Looks like I spelled it wrong. Peregrine. Oh, no. All right, so what we'll do is actually move this evaluate answer function to inside. So make sure that you indent it inside. So this way, we're going to call this function after we have inputted our answer to the question. So I'm going to say, ready to answer a question? Yep. What's the fastest bird? We'll put in peregrine falcon. And looks like we're still not being shown the right answer. So let's see what's going on. So how about we do some, we've talked about in the past week, an idea of debugging, where we're checking if our code isn't working. So let's debug right now. Let's see what's going on. So if we print out our user answer, just to see what the user's inputting. So I put in peregrine falcon. Looks like there is nothing being held, which is interesting. Okay. All right, so. All right, then what we'll do is change it up a little bit. We're going to move this line of code, which is evaluating and checking for the user's answers, to inside of this function and inside this if-else statement. So we're going to go inside of here and say if the answer which the user has put in is equal to the peregrine falcon, then we will increase their points by 1. So what we're doing is moving all of our code to one large function, just like we have one large house holding all the rooms and all the bathrooms, all that good stuff. One function is now going to hold all the code to ask the question and then do the evaluation as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep, so we're just moving all of our code to one big function now. So now if I hit run, we should hopefully have some success. right answer question. Here we go. Yes. Our answer of a pair. Ooh, whoops. I just pasted all the code. So yes, the answer to the fastest bird is a peregrine falcon. Oh, there we go. So we're having an error, and that is because we have to remember that our total points variable is a global variable. So we have to tell the computer that, hey, we're going to utilize and reference the variable total points in our function. So now if I hit run, hopefully third time's the charm, we'll do peregrine falcon. And there we go. We see that our total points is incremented by 1, and we got 1 point because we entered the right answer. So as a recap, we're creating a function called askQuestions, which is going to be responsible for asking the questions and then also evaluating our answers. And then we're using this line called global before our variable name so that we can tell the computer that, hey, the function and the variable which we're calling is outside of the function. So now we can use this variable inside of our function. And make sure we're spelling it correctly to get the points, right? All right, so we'll do a print. We'll print out you got it correct to let the user know they got it right. Otherwise, we're going to do else and print out you were wrong. All right, so everybody following to this first point where we're asking the user the question, printing it out, using a variable, holding the question, and then evaluating it using some conditionals. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I can see somebody trying to test it out right now. We're going to do peregrine falcon. Yep. Go ahead and enter that in. And there we go. We got it right. And we told that we got the answer correct. And our total points does go up by 1 as well. So now we have to sort of apply this idea towards the other 2 questions. Who can tell me where can the idea of our counter come into play? How can we use that here? So what would make sense? Every time we call the function, would it make sense to increase the value of our counter somehow?
Our variable called count.
Yep, so we got a variable called counter, and we want to ask the user 3 total questions, right? So what we'll do is at the end of every question, we'll increase the value of counter by 1. So we can do counter equals.
Counter plus 1.
Exactly, yep. And then we'll also have to create some different if-else conditionals to have different questions now. So what I'm going to do now is actually go ahead and copy and paste this conditional, this whole if statement. And instead of using an if, what's the other condition we have? If, and the other one is a, starts with an E.
Else.
Yep. And more specifically, we're going to use an elif. We're going to say else if the counter is at 1, meaning we're at the second question now because our counter started with 0, right? So 0 represents the first question, 1 is going to represent the second question. I did have a question, somebody typed in the chat of what is the most poisonous snake? So what is the most poisonous snake? Anybody know the answer? King cobra or an Indian python. All right. So we can go with either one. I guess let's go Andrew saying a king cobra. So we're going to change the print statement to say question number 2, type your answer, and now we got to change the conditional, the condition being met. So we're going to say the answer is equal to king cobra, then that means that they got the right answer. So once again, we're going through our function. Initially at 0, we represent the first question. Then we increment the value of our counter by 1, and then we're going to ask the user the second question right here. We're holding the question in a variable. We're printing the question out, telling the user to put an answer in, and then we're using conditionals in order to represent the answer. So we're using, yep, can I recap what the conditional does? Yep, so in this case, the conditional is used to check if the user puts the right answer in, then and only then are they awarded the right point. Andrew, that's fine if it's a guess, we'll go with it, that's fine. It sounds right, even though Google might differ. So, yep, once again, we're using this conditional, checking if the user put the right answer in, and only then we're giving them the right points and printing it out that they got the right answer. And now we got one last condition met for the third question. We're going to use the same idea. We can copy and paste and say else if the counter is at 2, meaning we're at the third question now. And you have an idea for what the third question can be?
What is the most popular ice cream flavor?
All right. Anisha, I think we know the answer to that.
Vanilla. Vanilla or chocolate or strawberry? Has to be one of those.
Let's see. So we'll go to
I was thinking it was chocolate.
chocolate. Yep. So we'll go with the right answer is going to be chocolate.
Chocolate's the best.
Chocolate is really good. Goes with everything, right? And we're going to change the text and say it's going to be question number 3. And then everything else still stays the same. We're utilizing the question variable, printing it out, asking the user for the response, and then we're checking with our conditional if-else statement. We're seeing if the user inputted the answer chocolate, then we award them the points and tell them they got the question right. Chase, mint chip is better. Mint chip is my favorite flavor as well. All right, so now let's do a recap and then we'll run our code. We have our variables initially. We got our one large function, which is responsible for asking the question and then doing the evaluation as well. We're going through if we're at the first question, meaning the counter variable is at 0. We're asking the question about the bird, evaluating it, then awarding the user the right points. Using that same mentality for the other 2 questions as well. For the first, the second question, and the third question as well. We're using this counter as a way to go through the 3 questions, saying that, hey, after the first question's been asked, go to the second question, and then go to the third question. And then we're just asking the user, hey, are you ready to answer the question? And then they hopefully say yes, and going through the quiz. So here we go. I'll hit run. Let's not add that because that's a word. So hit run. Ready to answer a question? We'll go yes. What's the fastest bird? Say I want to get this question wrong initially, right? So I'll go with cheetah. That's going to be wrong. We were wrong. We got 0 points. Ready to answer another question? We'll say yes. The second question is what's the most poisonous snake? We'll put the right answer. And now we got 1 point. And now the final question. Ready to answer? We'll say yes. And the most popular chocolate of what is the most popular ice cream flavor? We'll put in chocolate. And there we, I might have added an extra space in there. So I'll go again. So I'll put yes. I'll put cheetah. We got that wrong. Another question, we'll say yes. We'll go with King Cobra. And then we'll go one last question and put the flavor of chocolate. And there we go. We were at 2 points at the final of our quiz. So that was a quiz game, putting everything we've covered in the past 3 weeks into a nutshell into a final project. It's a quiz game where we had 3 questions, and you guys can even expand on this question-based quiz game. You guys can add loops, or if you'd like, you can add more questions. How would we go about adding more questions? Yep, it's the same idea. We're going to use this else if statement and do if the counter is at the value of 3, then we'll ask a different question and then evaluate the answer to that. We can keep on going on and adding many more values, many more questions as we go along as well. Anybody have any questions on anything related to code? Please let me know. And yes, the link towards the finished project will be available in the Google Classroom. And this is a little bit of a taste into what coding is like. This was the first time we've actually built a whole project. We've done little activities over the past couple of weeks involving small exercises, but this was the first time with an actual whole project, and hopefully you guys had some fun with it. This is the idea of what computer science is as a whole. We're able to make more projects with this idea of coding, make cooler things, bigger projects as well, and utilize more skills which we will learn. So hopefully you guys are starting to learn, develop this mindset of what computer programming allows us to do, and are excited about wanting to learn more about it and look forward towards our future programs as well. And with that, guys, we are bringing our summer Elk Grove Library Technology programs to an end. I appreciate all you guys. It's been amazing to see so many consistent names. Andrew, Avanish, Maria, Prutha, Chase, all you guys coming out every week, I believe. It's been awesome to see all you guys coming out. hopefully you guys have had a fun 4 weeks, gotten to learn a couple of new things. It's been a pleasure getting to know you guys, and I hope you guys can say the same to me as well. Remember, our July programs have been moved towards the fall. We'll be updating you guys on what's to come with that, but hopefully this sparked that interest in technology, and I hope I was able to take some part in that. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, and I hope to catch you guys in the upcoming fall. Stick around if you guys want to stick or say anything. But yeah, thank you guys.
All right, bye. Thank this class.
Bye. Thank you.
I thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for coming.